I'm here with Warren Rychel, Vice President and General Manager of the Windsor Spitfires. Thank you so much for joining me.
No problem, Kathryn.
So Warren, what made you decide to buy the Windsor Spitfires team?
Well, obviously, Bob and I, obviously from the area, and I was working in hockey when I retired in 1999. I worked for Phoenix, and we saw what the Hunter brothers were doing in London, basically with the London Knights, the two brothers owning a team, and it was a Laco year, and Bob was home, and I was retired and scouting for Phoenix. So we kind of put our heads together and say, wouldn't it be great to do this in Windsor? Buy the team, and at the time it was the old arena too, and get a new arena and take the team to a new level. So, here we are 5 years later, and the dreams come true. The new arena, obviously 2 Memorial Cup championships, but just a love for hockey and be able to do it in our hometown, which we love so much. We love Windsor, and it's phenomenal to be from here. Our parents are both from here, but just to get home and raise our families here and have the hockey team, the ones we watched when we were little kids, that's probably the biggest thing. Just awesome. I thought it'd be a good thing, and lo and behold, it's been a great thing.
How has your experience in the NHL helped mentor these young players?
Well, I think it was really, really big. First of all, I think there's two aspects of it. I think the first thing is actually playing, and from your playing experience, you kind of know what kind of teammates you want, and that goes into drafting the players. Secondly, is when I was scouting, you know what kind of what to do and what to look for. It's very hard to build a team in a competitive league. The OHL's a mini NHL. So you have to have all your ducks in order. So I think the playing part obviously helps because you can relate your experiences to players, but the scouting does also when you try to assemble a team. So those are the two biggest things from my NHL that I bring.
What are a couple of the most important skills that you look for when scouting players?
Well, the game's changed, as we all know. I mean, obviously even changed from 10 years ago, the speed of the game. I know for fans out there that if they sit 5 or 10 rows up, the OHL is probably as fast as the NHL was 15 years ago. The kids are bigger, stronger. With the new rules, obviously, with the no hooking and holding and the new standard rules that came in 5 years ago, the biggest thing is skating and hockey sense. I would put it the 1-2. Before it used to be basically size and skating. Now it's skating and hockey sense. It doesn't matter how big you are. If you can skate and make plays and use your teammates well and you read the game well, you're going to have a really good career. I mean, you can even look in the NHL. You look at Rafalski, guys like that, smaller players, Gianta, that are very, very good. But if you're big and you can skate, then you got a pretty good head start on everyone else for sure.
How has it been having your son on your team, and do the other players think that there's favoritism or anything like that?
Well, it's a good question. Obviously, Kerb was drafted by Barrie, and he was a long journey to get back to Windsor. But all our plan was after we didn't get the Memorial Cup bid, we didn't get to host it. We thought we'd go young, and we always intended to have him here. But we brought him back here, and I don't think there's any favoritism at all. I mean, I don't coach a team. I'm not on the bench. Bob Jones is a coach, so he earns his ice time like anybody else. Since we bought the team, if you're going to play and contribute, we're going to put you on the ice regardless of your age. So I think he's got friends in the room. He's known the guys for, obviously the last 2 Memorial Cups growing up. He's been around the room. He knows what to expect even when Boogie was coaching. So I don't think there's any at all. And he's got to earn his ice time like anyone else. He's just another player on the team.
With the majority of the players being new Spitfires, have they met or fell short of your expectations?
Well, it's kind of it's a really good question, actually. I didn't think we'd be as good as we were coming out after trading in Shug and Kent, and we really, at that time, threw our hand and said, okay, we're going to rebuild and go young. But I think with the emergence, you look at the new players, Koklachev and Kuhnhackl, have been awesome for us. They've been great players in the league, 40 goals each. So that kind of boosted our expectations right there. We thought we'd be in 7th, 8th place and make some hard decisions at the trade deadline, but we were right in the thick of things, beating all the teams from the East and beating favorites in our division. So those two guys definitely. Nick Ebert's been a great player. He's going to be a high pick next year in the NHL draft. He's been awesome. Brady Vale's come a long way. Even after Christmas, he's really done well. But all the new guys that came in add an element to our team, and we seem to be finding our niche right now. So hopefully we can keep it going. But I think we've gone beyond expectations. We're all a little spoiled here. Myself, the coaches, the fans. We expect to win every year, but it's tough when you build a team like last year. Obviously, the bar is high, and I don't think, maybe it was sitting in this chair 20 years down the road. Hopefully, we're never going to see a team like last year. I think is one of the best in junior hockey. So we know the expectations are high, but a lot of kids have exceeded them for sure. To get back to the question.
Do you feel pressure to live up to last year's expectations?
Oh,
with them
definitely.
living more
I don't think we'll ever, we can win. I'm confident of that. I think a lot of things are going good for us now, but I don't think to go into Memorial Cup and win the final 9-1. Obviously, the expectations are high. I don't think necessarily in the hockey side the expectations are big as an organization. So we want to be in playoffs every year. We want to be a competitive team. If we rebuild like we are this year, we're not at the bottom of the league, and that's a tribute to the players and the coaching staff right now. So, it is hard to do that, but we also expect a lot from ourselves as owners and coaches too.
Growing up, who was your greatest influence on the rink and why?
Well, I had a great coach. He's a local guy. I played Bantam hockey. His name's Al Cormier. I hope he's watching out there. He's a great coach that I had in Bantam, and he's still involved in hockey. And I know a lot of the NHL guys work out with him. I know Joe Quenneville worked out with him. I know Tim Gleason works out with him. And just a great guy from Riverside that really instilled the work ethic. When you're in minor hockey, it's fun to play. And we got to an age at Bantam when we were playing in the old St. Clair Beach Arena and Shoreline, and it was all about work ethic, and we really practiced hard and played hard, and I kind of bought into that. And I wasn't always the most skilled player, but he was kind of the first influence for sure. And then obviously getting older, I would have to say getting my first chance was Barry Melrose when I made the LA Kings in 1992. He believed in me, he played me. I went to Los Angeles as a free agent, and I had 5 years in the minors, and I didn't have anything to lose, and I played well. He picked me, he went with me, he believed in me, and I'd probably have to give hats off to him for sure. That helped me a lot. What is this year's team's greatest strength and weakness? Oh, geez. I think the greatest strength is, never saying die attitude. I mean, when we're out, we always come back. We feel we can come back on a team. We did that a lot before Christmas time, and that's our strength. Never out of a game, especially in our hometown with our fans. If we're down, we feel we can get back in the game or win the game. I think our biggest strength is obviously, Ryan Ellis too. I mean, let's not forget about how good he is and what he means to the Spitfires, the city, and obviously the country too with his World Junior performances. But I think that's our biggest strength, be able to come back, and in our experience we have. Weaknesses maybe are a little bit of depth. Obviously, you look at last year's Memorial Cup, we had NHL draft pick Stephen Johnson on the fourth line. This year, just we're a little lighter. We have 4 94s in the lineup. Not as deep, not as much goal scoring, but I would say that would be it. But I think we're coming around now, and it's going to be interesting here what happens. But definitely strengths would be Ellis and ability to come back, and weaknesses would be probably maybe a little bit of depth. But then again, there I am comparing it to last year's team, so that's not fair either. So it's a tough question.
What is the team's greatest competition and why, as far as team goes?
You mean as far as another team in the league?
Yeah.
Well, obviously it's a different world in the West. In the Western Conference, every game's tough. Any team can beat any team. You've seen that with London's beaten. London's 8th seed has beaten Owen Sound in a game. Saginaw's losing 2-1 to Guelph in their series. So the biggest competition is everyone. I don't think you can pinpoint it to one team. I think every day in the Western Conference it's a very tight race. So the competition basically is the whole Western Conference. Anything can happen on any day. So I wouldn't pinpoint one team higher than the other, but we do have rivalries. I mean, Plymouth has been a great rivalry. I think we played them 38 times the last 3 years, and they're always exciting to play. And Erie is starting at this time in the series. We're starting to build a little bit of chippiness and rivalry situation there too.
If you had to choose between managing and playing, which one would you choose?
Oh, geez. Obviously, you want to play. You can never replace playing. but I think you're pretty close to it, managing a team. I mean, obviously I can a little bit out of shape for that now, but playing, it's the best time of your life, and traveling with the guys and playing in the NHL is a dream come true. But we're close on it now. Coaching, I guess, is probably a little closer than managing, but you see when you feel good when you can help the young players become pros and do well in life, and I think that's a rewarding for us. But yeah, I'd say now playing was before then. Now managing is really rewarding also right now.
How do you make time to find balance in your life from going from being a husband and a father to being a mentor and a general manager?
Well, I think it's tough. I mean, my wife Denise has been understanding. We traveled a lot when we played in the NHL, and she knows what we have to go through here. But I think the last couple of years have been extremely hard. On the hockey side of thing, we played. We went to Rimouski. We played 100 games that year. Last year we played 100 games. You're getting ready for the OHL draft. You're scouting. You're getting ready for the import draft. You're bringing kids in. So I'm doing a lot. And it's been extremely busy, but also rewarding. But the family understands now that, now that Kirby's on the team, that kind of leaves a little pressure off the wife. And my second son, Maddox, plays AAA, so she's on the road with him a lot, and Kendall in tow. So it's very good. We manage it, and we get through it, and it's been like this kind of our whole life. So, it's not the ordinary setup, but we get through it for sure.
With nearly a sellout crowd every game and thousands of idolizing Spitfires fans, how do you help the players maintain a level head and not have the fame go to their head so much and focus on the game of hockey?
Well, it's good. I think that's a great question. A lot of stuff that, people, they see them in at high school, they see them in the community, they see them on TV, but behind closed doors, we really make sure we take care of that. Obviously, can't talk about some of the things that we do with the kids on TV, but we make sure and we let them know if we feel one kid's getting out of hand. A lot of that comes from good leadership on the team, that you don't let the kids get out of hand, and that comes from year to year building. I'm sure if a young kid came in and act cocky or thought he was all that, Ryan Ellis or Kenny Ryan would be in his ditch and get on him. So I think we have a good culture here of new kids coming in, but I know the kids love playing in front of the best fans in the league. I mean, you take last night, for example, with the towels, and the third period explosion was awesome, and the fans were there. And for kids that come first time into Windsor, they don't know how great our fans are. They're obviously knowledgeable. I think with Detroit and Toronto, probably half and half Red Wing Toronto fans, plus their knowledge in general. It's so passionate in there, it's loud, and our kids feed off it for sure. They love it.
If you had one piece of advice for an aspiring hockey player, what would that be?
I think biggest thing is don't give up, and you got to battle through perseverance. You got to know every day is not going to go your way. There's a lot of kids in the world trying to get to the junior level. They may call it a junior B level, maybe a junior A level. There's a lot of kids trying to get to the NHL, and there's 600 guys that play regular in the NHL every year. So it's not going to go your way. It can change like this. The game of hockey can change like in a second, and we've all seen things happen like that. But if you have a bad day, you can't worry about it. You got to stick to your plan and be steadfast and be focused and stick with the plan you set out for yourself, and also that the coaches have set out for you. So there's a lot of examples of that every day. You're a hero one day and you're a goat the next day, but you have to keep it level-headed. You don't want to get too high and too low, and if something happens, you want to put it behind you and deal with it right away. And that's another thing. We look for kids that can deal with pressure. When you draft a kid at 15 years old, he's a great player on his midget team, and he comes in and probably never been yelled at before, and it's bound to happen. So you have to find those kids that can put things behind them and have a good attitude to move on and do the right things. When something bad happens, you got to rebound right away.
And here's a little bit of a personal question, but if your brother Andrew were alive, what would he say about the Spitfires franchise today?
Oh, geez. I mean, he saw, the rising of it, and obviously, geez, that's a tough one. I mean, I wish he would have been there. It was very satisfying for, I know, my mom and dad to win that Memorial Cup in Rimouski. That was shortly after his death, so. It was also good for my mom and dad to be there and get away from Windsor for a while, for a couple of weeks. But I think I think he'd be really proud. He always was proud of me, and watching obviously when I was playing and stuff, and he had so many friends, and obviously in Tecumseh, Bell River, he was a rink rat himself. He drove the Zamboni, he's clocked a lot of hours in the arena, and he's probably in the big arena up there watching. I'm sure he's very proud of not only me, but he knows all the guys too, and the friends, and what the team has accomplished. And obviously with Kirby on the team now, he never got to see him play, but I'm sure you think it's really good.
You've been watching 5 Minutes with Warren Rychel. Thank you so much for tuning in.